Hey, what's good? It's Rockman, and welcome to whatever the heck I'm gonna call this. I guess you could say it's a sort of a Smash diary. Pretty much, I'll be taking matches throughout the week, looking at them, thinking them over, and then kind of picking out what I think I really improved on, I need to work on, etc. So this week I did focus primarily on Greninja. I've only played three other matches, I think, or no, five matches with other characters, which was I played two matches with Rob and I played against Lord William, and I played, I think, a couple of matches with Zero Suit Samus on For Glory randomly, just because. So beginning of the week, my task was to simply focus on movement. A lot of my matches that you will see playing in the background here, my whole goal is to either move into my opponent's range and move back out quickly, or just to move around as much as I can and not stand still. That seems to be a problem that I have, and I think that a lot of that problem comes from me playing other fighting games, traditional fighting games rather. I like characters that have movement, so I play a lot of Cammy, a lot of Jury, etc. You kind of have to be stationary and know exactly where to be at. There's not a lot of like movement outside of that. You're moving in and out of range, but you're not able to move like around platforms and things like that, if that makes sense. You're moving back and forth, but there's no like going around jumping and things like that. If you jump, you're committing super heavily to whatever you're doing, and that's it. Which is not the case with Smash. You can jump, double jump. You got kids that have all kind of different air movement options and things like that to kind of, move around. It's almost like an air dasher in that sense. So for me, it was like a huge adjustment to get used to this movement. And so what was suggested to me by both Swoops and Stroder, and a couple other people actually, was to just focus on learning how to move. Just move around with my character, which is primarily Greninja. So I've been practicing 99% moving around with Greninja and about nobody else. I took that knowledge and went into For Glory and got a bunch of matches. I also played against Lord William not too long ago, pretty much yesterday as of this. He actually helped out by playing Ike. I did not, for disclosure, I did not win a lot of matches this week, just so everybody knows. When you see these clips go up, it's not like I'm picking out the best matches. For the most part, I lost a lot. I think I won a total of like maybe 10 matches this entire week. And that's out of a lot of matches I played. Because I used to play For Glory about an hour, half hour to an hour, depending on how I feel. And again, like when I played Lord William, we used to play like 20, 30 games, and we probably played about 20 or 30 this time. I only picked out a few that I kept, which I also upload separately so that people want to watch those and can see, where I'm at and give an idea of what I can improve. Feel free. But yeah, I really try to practice like moving in and out of his space, being in his face, getting out of his face, getting out of different setups without rolling, even though I still have that habit of like not rolling, shielding rather. I don't roll that much. I shield a lot more than I roll. But against him, I try to my best not to shield a lot because I realize Greninja doesn't get a lot out of shielding. He doesn't get much at all. I can jab out of shield, and that's okay, but that really doesn't give me a really good punish. It's not really that much of a threat. And even then, they still get speed because his jab's not that fast out of shield. And his out of, obviously coming out of shield raw is just not all that great. He doesn't have any like, out of shield options that are really all that great. As far as I know, if he does, let me know. I might be if I'm wrong. But from what I'm talking to with other Greninja players, and obviously from my own looking up things, it just wasn't all that great. So my goal should be to move in and out of my opponent's range rather than trying to shield everything. Shielding everything is actually a bad idea for me, for my character. This is a huge change for me because I'm used to just, again, other fighting games. I'm like, okay, block. You block. And if this was unsafe or this looked unsafe, now what? What can you do? We can do this A, B, or C, or D, or whatever. So for Greninja, this is like a completely different place out where I'm used to. So we have to adjust to that. And it's been good practicing moving around. Like I literally did what Stroder recommended was like going to just Hyrule Temple or any big stage really, and just running around and doing nothing but moving, getting used to his movement options, how he moves, where he moves, why he moves that way. And just practicing that constantly. So I did that quite a bit. I do that pretty much every day now. I can either go to Hyrule Temple or I'll just go to like a flat stage and just move around, practice short hopping, fast falling, etc. Dashing in and out and just getting used to those movement options. I still can't do a lot of the foxtrot stuff. I can foxtrot, no problem. That's easy. But like doing a lot of like pseudo dash dancing and things like that, I can't quite do that stuff yet. I can do it every once in a while. I don't do it consistently, I should say. So I'm still practicing that and getting used to those options as well. Another thing I'm practicing doing obviously is short hop, fast fall, fair, which is going to be one of my better spacing tools. So that's something else I got to really practice on. I still have the habit if I get blocked doing one of my fairs or nairs or something like that, I instantly go in a shield and I get punished for it. Or I just get punished for it outright because I'm not spacing it properly. So that's another thing I got to work on with my movement and my spacing. I'm going to get more into spacing this coming week, so I'm still just focusing on movement right now, but it's something that I have to consider when I'm playing matches, so there is that. But yeah, I think this week I made some minor improvements in my movement. I still got to get better at it, more consistent, and also have to stop being in that mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna zone now, let me stop moving and just throw out a shuriken. And that's not necessarily the best option, especially if they're in range where if I throw a shuriken they block it, they can just run up and shield punch me, because it's not like I recover that fast from it. So I have to learn my spacing on that as well to get used to it. I'm starting to understand that though, starting to feel a little bit better about it, a little bit more confident. On the flip side of that, I also, as of today, I actually went and I tried out Zero Suit Samus's movement again, and playing Greninja and trying to get used to his movement stuff. Playing Zero Suit a little bit, not playing I should say, but taking her in training mode a little bit and just practicing her movement options, her short hop, fast fall options, and just doing just short hops in general, and just getting used to like moving around and floating the flow of her and her dashes and whatnot again. It's really kind of different now, coming at it from a different approach. But it also turned around when I played Greninja again and went back into training mode and again started practicing movement options, just trying to move around and whatnot. I kind of got a feel of like, oh, this is what I'm doing wrong. 'Cause with Zero Suit Samus, I felt more natural doing like her, like, you know, dash in, jump back kind of deal. And I hadn't felt that with Greninja quite yet. But after trying it with Zero Suit for quite a bit and just like sitting down and getting used to it, because hers is a little bit easier, it felt a little more natural trying it with Greninja as well, because I had a better understanding of the momentum and how his is different and how it carries over. So I really did sit down and just practice moving around with him a lot this week. In matches, you know, I'm still just falling back into old habits. I'm going to break those by making new habits. That's going to take a lot of time. So I'm not expecting within the next month or so to just be this bomb-ass player or something that just knows all the movement options. It's going to take me some time. But so far, you know, a little progress here and there. I cannot complain at all. It's been going pretty good. I've been doing better in matches. The other side of things is that a lot of matches I had this week, or this early in the week, I had a lot of trolling matches. Like, people were really trolling me hard, and it sucks, you know. There was this one person in particular that played. At first he played Ganon, and I was like respectful of that. But then he played Zelda, and he just did a lot of rollback, roll hide. I'm like, okay, this is silly. And I actually started to get a grip on them, like what to do in that situation. But it's hard to punish rolls, particularly back rolls anyway, online. Learn how to deal with that stuff, because you're gonna run into some stuff like that in tournament, and Lord knows if I get embarrassed by somebody doing rollback in tournament, I'll be really upset. So I need to learn how to control that as well. I did not go on Anthers this week. I should have, but I will probably try and go on Anthers next week once I have some more time. I'm kind of out of time for this week to play matches, so Friday we're having a crew battle up at TGZ, so I'm getting, you know, mentally prepared for that. But I don't have a lot of time right now, tomorrow, and probably even the weekend to play a lot of matches. I got a bunch of other stuff to do. But for now, I think this is a solid week, some solid improvement. I felt like, even though I lost more matches than I normally do, I felt more improvement, like I got better just knowledge-wise, and I felt a little stronger. So I'm looking forward to taking that knowledge into the next set of matches next week, and put some more highlight clips of that up as well. Side notes that I can think of is freaking Greninja. I just do not like recovering straight to the stage. It always happens, every single time. Every single time that happens, and it's annoying, but still gotta get used to it, gotta get better at it, because sometimes your only option would be to recover to the side of the stage, and I need to be better at that. There's also the situations where, there were a couple of situations where I should have recovered with a straight diagonal, like diagonal towards the stage, and I still somehow get up. I think today when I was playing Little Wheel, I figured out what my problem is, which is sometimes I try and roll the stick towards diagonal, rather than going up B, let go, diagonal towards the stage. And what that does is, instead of getting like the natural diagonal direction and getting your full blast that way, which gives you a lot more recovery, I end up getting up rolled into up left, or up rolled into up right, and that just shortens my recovery distance. I don't make it back to the stage. A little while ago I did practice this, but I don't think at the time I knew why that was. Now I understand why it's working that way, so I'm getting better at trying to, you know, recover properly, but I still have my issues. The other thing I noticed, that I'm still not teching very well. I did do some teching practice, but I still need to get some more in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, I tried a little bit this week when I was doing the Hyrule Castle, or Hyrule Temple rather thing, when I was running around and practicing that. I set up like a bunch of computer players at like level 9 and tried to avoid them the entire time. That's another thing I did for an exercise. But I also purposely at some points went into the Cave of Life there and just like bounced around and tried to just like get used to the teching. I made a stage actually to practice teching as well, but that didn't go over too well. It felt a little too forced. I need to practice teching when I'm not expecting it. So it's gonna have to come. Something's gonna have to come in matches. But I'm getting a little better at like knowing when to tech. It's just now just getting the timing down and reacting properly, because I may know when to tech, but I'm still not actually teching at the right spot. It's like, okay, I know he's gonna do this move here, it's gonna bounce me, now I gotta wait for it to hit, and then I'll still miss it. So there's that. So the other thing is, there were a couple players I ran 2 on 4 Glory that were pretty cool, but one in particular that stood out was Kaito. Shout out to him, really cool player. And I wish I could play more matches against him actually, but I ended up having to. I think it was late at night. I can't remember if it was late night or like I had to do something else or whatever. I had to get off, so I couldn't play him. Again, shout outs to Lord William. It's tough playing him, and he's dominating me right now, and it's cool. And I'm still learning, so I'm fine with that for now. But it's that frustration, that competitiveness. I gotta let it go. I'm scrubby this game. Gotta learn it. So it's cool. But I appreciate him taking the time to get some matches in with me, and it was good to play against both Roy and Ike. Particularly Ike, because I have like very little Ike experience with Greninja, so it was kind of cool to learn that. I did play Rob against his Ike at one point, kind of as a brain rest, because I've been playing like against his Ike for like 4 matches straight, and I felt like I was running into a brick wall. And I'll do that sometimes. I'll just switch characters just to get my mind to think of something else. So I did that, played Rob a couple of matches, like okay, I could try this, that, and this, and then I went back to Greninja and stuck with it throughout. And I think I learned a few things here and there, but I still need to like make it more consistent and not make such obvious reads. He was just reading me like a book half the time. So shout out to him. Shout out to Stroder, man. He's been helping me out as well. We played a few online matches. I'm gonna put a couple of clips up, and I may put a couple of the matches up. Unfortunately, it got marred by my ISP, so that sucked. But the couple matches we did have were pretty good. And I learned some solid stuff from them. Particularly about Greninja's counter. I need to use that more. I'm not using it enough. Obviously, I want to overuse it, but in certain situations where it's very obvious where it can help at, I need to like recognize that and use it. Yeah, and then I think that's about all. Yeah, that's about all. With that in mind, next week I'm gonna keep movement in mind, but now I'm gonna start incorporating using more tilts. So more of his forward tilt, more of his down tilt, more up tilt. And then just getting used to his spacing. So I'm going to work on spacing and using more tilts this coming week. Actually starting from today on. And I'm keeping movement in mind. Obviously, I'm going to keep practicing movement, keep doing that. But I'm going to practice like my actual spacing and like my, get my attacks in the proper place. I think after that, the next thing I work on is my follow-ups and, knowing when and where to hit what. And then also just talk about, where I've gone as a player, what I've learned, that kind of thing. So that's the plan. Thanks for checking it out, y'all. Later.